This segment of the news is brought to you by Smitty's Cards and Coins. Would you like to know what your collectibles are worth? Come by 2281 Postal Road, Unit 4, across from the post office.
This health tip is brought to you by Desert View Hospital. Cardiovascular disease is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. Statins are a prescription medication that can help decrease the risk for cardiovascular disease. But just who is at risk? The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force, an independent group of medical professionals, continually reviews the latest information on a wide range of preventive services, including for cardiovascular disease. The task force has just issued a new recommendation statement on statins use for adults who are at risk for cardiovascular disease. Laura Berger has more in this week's JAMA report.
In the United States, 1 in 3 adults will die from cardiovascular disease. Many doctors prescribe statins as a way to reduce cholesterol levels, lowering a patient's risk for a heart attack or stroke.
The risk factors for cardiovascular disease include high cholesterol, high blood pressure, smoking, diabetes, and your age.
Dr. Douglas Owens, an author of the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force recommendation, says the group recommends that some people, age 40 to 75, who have one or more of those risk factors, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, smoking or diabetes, and do not have a history of cardiovascular disease, and whose chance of having a heart attack or stroke over the next 10 years is 7.5% or higher, use a statin. Those whose risk is 10% or higher will benefit most. Although there are risks, Dr. Owens says the use of a statin, along with a healthy diet and exercise, can be a useful tool in the fight against cardiovascular disease.
The benefits of statins are a reduction in heart attacks, strokes, and death. The harms of statins we judge based on our very comprehensive review of the literature to be small. And in patients who are at elevated risk for cardiovascular disease, the benefits outweigh the harms.
Laura Berger, the JAMA Report.
Thanks to Laura Berger from the Journal of the American Medical Association. The task force found the evidence for initiating statins for people over 75 to be insufficient. A 10-year veteran detective of the North Las Vegas Police Department died Saturday morning, one day after he was hit by a wrong-way driver. 32-year-old Detective Chad Parquet was a husband, father, and detective. He was on duty Friday afternoon when police say a wrong-way driver crashed into him and one other car near Martin Luther King and Cary in Las Vegas. It's unclear why the 62-year-old female driver crossed into oncoming traffic. Commissioner Butch Borasky gives some updates on the road construction slated soon for Homestead Road.
From Game Bird to Mance Road, they're going to rip out the road and redo it. They're waiting for the hydrology right now because there is a lot of water that will travel down that road, and they want to make sure it crosses over at the right point and doesn't wind in somebody's yard. There's not many homes down through there, but they are going to have to change some elevations on the road and things like that. But when they get it done, it'll look, it'll be nice like the part that goes all the way up to 160. And then after they finish that, they were talking about a possible overlay down to Thousand Air, which would be where Lakeside is. So we're doing what we can with Homestead Road. It is the highest traveled regular road in town other than 160 and 372.
Do you know when this proposed time period is?
It was scheduled for early spring, and there was a little hang up with the hydrology. So once they have that all in place, the county will announce a date and it'll be in the papers. I'll let you know and you can put it on the air, and that'll cause some traffic problems again in itself. But we have to get our roads up to snuff, and the only way to do that is sometimes we have to shut down the lane or shut down both lanes.
Well, our thoughts are going out to our northern partners up there in Reno. A wet winter storm in the Sierra has triggered mudslides, closing parts of major highways north and west of Lake Tahoe and shut down dozens of roads in the Reno-Tahoe area, where flooding has forced the evacuation of hundreds of homes. More than 1,000 residents voluntarily evacuated one South Reno neighborhood where drainage ditches started overflowing early Sunday afternoon. Nearly 5 inches of rain has fallen in the Galena Creek area, southwest of Reno, and more than 4 inches north of town. Well, we'll be back with more local news after this break.